a big thing that we had was called aging in place. That seniors don't want to go to nursing homes, they want to age in place. And cannabis is something that can allow you to do that. It can allow you to sleep, it can allow you to eat, it can allow you to be pain-free. You can successfully age in place. And I see my life as a mitzvah to help people do that.
One of the trends that I've seen in the last couple of years in my practice is that I'm getting more and more elderly geriatric patients coming in. This has been extremely rewarding for me. For a long time I've recognized that one of the areas in medicine and the areas in our society that are neglected are the elderly. The way that they're cared for, both medically and socially. And so from the medical perspective, we see people on huge lists of drugs that are not helping them, that are often well known to increase their morbidity and mortality in that patient population, and that are often being used to treat side effects of other drugs that they're on. So this polypharmacy is a huge problem in geriatrics. And then of course we have very high rates of dementia, cognitive problems, and then other mental emotional symptoms like sleep disorders and anxiety, and of course there's chronic pain, right? As our bodies start breaking down, these people get more and more symptoms typically, and more drugs that cause more and more side effects. So it's this real snowball effect. Now I will say that I fully believe it's possible for us to become more and more fit as we get older and older. And that doesn't mean that we have big muscles and can sprint a mile when we're 80, but that means that we can become more adapted to our environment and be able to function with greater ease and kind of be in the flow more, be more in balance with our daily life and with our surroundings. That's wisdom. That's what the Taoists call Wu Wei, kind of that effortless action. And so I believe that that's possible, right? I don't think that we have a medical system that supports that in any way. And so what I've seen with the sacred plant in the elderly population has just been incredible for all the same things that we're seeing in the rest of the population, but with really drastic effects, especially on the medication list. So we see meds just dropping off the list. Pain relievers and sleeping aids and anxiety drugs and antidepressants. Those are some of the biggest categories of medications, but they get so much better when they get off of these meds. One would think that these medications are helping them, and maybe they are kind of suppressing or covering up one symptom here, one symptom there, but when you look at the whole picture, they get better when they get off of a lot of these meds. And again, it doesn't have to be either or. It's not add cannabis, take the rest of these away. It's add cannabis, wait until they're doing so much better, then start tapering these other medications off, and they can stay doing better.
Once I started using the medicinal cannabis, we found that my pressures could be controlled with it naturally, so I went off the eye drops. And since then, I've had no problems as far as infections or anything like that with my eyes. Everything's been good. When I was diagnosed with the arthritis, Keenan recommended that I try tinctures because it's a dual way of working. The THCA in the tincture is an anti-inflammatory, so it helps with my arthritis as well as the pressure during the day. And I don't have to smoke as often or as much if I even want to. The tincture works 4 hours and I can move and I'm not in pain. And there's no prescription, there's no drug. And I prefer that. There is nothing for osteoarthritis on the market. Absolutely nothing they can give you. I can move without pain, I can bend over, something I couldn't do before. I have full range of motion in my neck. It's amazing what they do. And all with a little drop of oil. Who would have thought?
But I have this cheap tool, this natural plant, and it has these beautiful properties, and everyone's telling you it's evil, it's illegal, it's this and that, but it helps you. I should use every tool I can to treat you. I should minimize medications. I should minimize your exposure to things instead of over-medicating an elderly female, watching her have a hip fracture and fall. I should say, you know, you're in a lot of pain, ma'am. I know our normal protocol would be to give you some Percocet, some Motrin, some Lyrica, all these medications. What if we take a step back and you try a little bit of this oil? It may work. If it does, you may be more operational. Yes, you may feel a little forgetful, a little out of it. If you get too much, you may get a little jittery. But if we reach the right dose, you may be pain-free. You're not going to fall. Yeah. If you get too much, you're going to sleep. We decrease that hip fracture. We allow that lady to live another 5-10 years. I did my job. I did it.
I think that, you know, a high CBD full spectrum product is pretty safe to try on anybody first. A lot of my elderly patients, I will encourage them to try that first, just because, like I said, by the hierarchy of needs, you know, most older folks have chronic pain or arthritis or what have you, and I see what their reaction is from that, and I'll give them a pretty decent dose, you know, to start with, based on their weight. If they're over 150 pounds, like 2 milliliters of the high spectrum CBD. As far as THC goes, I think that that's something you need to microdose because people are very sensitive. And if your endocannabinoid system is in good shape, you don't need a whole lot. Yeah. If you are not in such good shape with your endocannabinoid system, you may need substantially more. So you have to build yourself up to what's comfortable with you, because you certainly don't want to go too far over the other side.